So hello guys and welcome back. We are going to be getting into our round 1 match very soon, and this will be the two teams of HD Gaming versus EhDiWow. Now it's going to be really interesting to see. We are looking for confirmation actually on one of the two factions there for EhDiWow. Is it really going to be random? Is it going to be a certain race? I'm not too sure as of yet based on the bracket, but from what I have gotten so far in terms of our setup, I believe that it's gonna be Terran and Zerg potentially here for Tanghenyo on Boiled Egg. But we are still waiting on for confirmation that. In the meantime though, HD Gaming very secure with that Xenos Terran as well as Papizki on that Zerg. And well, for me, I might not be too familiar with EhDiWow. We're gonna be looking for more information from our edits very soon, but I do know HD Gaming quite a lot. So first things first, Mr. Cena's is the biggest reason I have actually been in the StarCraft scene in the first place. Without him, I wouldn't have picked this game up. Without him, I wouldn't even bothered to do StarCraft content. And well, with his support, with his propping, and just a little way to support him in his endeavors, I was just like, nah, so good, let's go cast some StarCraft. And if I remember correctly, he was our first head-to-head match that we actually casted in my very first cast in the first place. And it was a really interesting time. In the meantime, for Papinski though, if I do recall from all the way back in the Wings of Liberty days, he was a classic player as well. He was he was one of those players who loved to play that Zerg, and he's a great drummer in his own right at the same time. So for HD Gaming, it feels like, yes, this is gonna be a remaster of them looking to get even more and more action going. In the meantime though, we are setting things up in the lobby, and it seems like we do have some maps in store for you all already. So there you go, guys. We got our map set on up. Rhoskallian to be our first map, Efflorescence for a second, Emerald City gonna be third. Interesting map picks right here, right now. It seems like a lot of macro gonna be pretty much interesting to check out in the first place. We are not gonna, probably not, he has to practice, but we can go whenever actually. So yeah, so we can start things off already. They're looking to set up for Mr. Mizzle and everything, and yes, Stalvin is going to be here to help things out, to get the flow going and be a-okay into this matchup. But as I was saying, for our maps, well, it is going to be really macro heavy, and it's going to be really interesting to see how quick and dynamic these players can truly be. So yeah, it seems like it is going to be Terran and Zerg versus Terran and Zerg right now. A mirror matchup in a way. It's going to be really interesting to see how the aggression is going to unfold in the first place. With T and Z together on the duo, there's just so much potential to go for the rush, but against the same kind of thing, it might be a brawl by the 1, maybe even 2-minute mark, to say the least. Anyway, though, we are going to be getting into map number 1 very shortly. It seems like our players are ready to go. Let's get into the action. Let's get into the game. And yeah, we're going to be looking to quickly just asking us if everything's, switch up. Yes. Let's just confirm. So right now we're just asking if he's Terran. Terran is Terran. Yeah, Terran is Terran. And yeah, we can go back into the game and get into the match itself. There you go, ladies and gents. And yeah, so think about this, referees. Only people can unpause the game, and we can do it ourselves. Let's go! It's round number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SCPH dual meet, and this is a best of 3 between these two duos. Introducing first, on the south side of Rhoskallian, it can be Team HD Gaming, consisting of the yellow Zerg of Papinski and his teammate. Here on the bottom right, all the way onto the corner, it's our red Terran, Xenos. It's been a while since I said that name, and it's been a while since I've seen him play. Gonna be really interesting to see what we can see from HD Gaming in just a bit. We'll talk about them later on, as I'm very curious right now what these two have to offer onto the opposite side. Here we go for Team EhDiWow. Oh, I'm surprised how great these guys potentially can be. It's our blue Terran, Tanghenyo. I feel like that's a trap. I feel like saying that name really quickly is a trap. But luckily, we're on an English stream, so we really aren't going to get in trouble with that one. But on the north side of Rhoskallian, it's going to be his teammate, Boiled Egg. So here for the seniors bracket, expecting a lot more standard play in a way, even though it's a 2v2, you can still do the builds from 1v1, and immediately got Boiled Egg playing the macro game. He's gonna go for the hatchery first onto the natural side. Extractor right now being built as well. Seems like Metabolic Boost gonna be in order very, very soon, and at the same time, same situation here for Papinski, looking to be a pretty dynamic duo on both fronts. So already quite a difference, quite a change to begin with. Like, the thing to note about these two teams as well, since they're in the senior bracket, they understand a lot more about the game. They know how to really play things out, and it seems like for them, they aren't really just random sticking together. They feel a lot more in tune with each other and their partnership. For now though, let's talk about HD Gamer since I do know more about them. It's not about bias, guys. It really is just about the history that I do have with Mr. Cena specifically. So as we said before, Mr. Cenas is the reason I got into SC2 casting, and from then on, well, it moved to working in the SPO program, the SEA Games, and here we are now, online tournaments here for the SCPH scene. And as I've said, I wouldn't be here without him. Now, I take the note for Cena's one of the best players in his time during the SC2 era, especially during Receive Liberty, as well a little bit of that Heart of the Swarm action. Now, he was also a representative last year to Turkmenistan for StarCraft 2, putting up a pretty decent endeavor. But beyond all of that, so he was my teammate in Overwatch, actually. I was the coach, he was the main DPS for Miraculum Esports Club, and then he was alongside us during the Team Philippines World Cup 2019 all the way to BlizzCon. So it was really funny because me and Cenas were the only ones looking for StarCraft things, and everyone was like, StarCraft, whatever. We had pictures by the Jim Raynor statue, went over to the bar and the like, and it was, it was a pretty cool time overall, just sharing a little bit of that RTS action. We also played Warcraft 3 Reforged together, and I kind of just smacked his ass on playing human, cause not his game. This one though, he's probably gonna just beat me so hard. For Papinski, in the meantime, like I said before, I wasn't in the scene earlier on, but if I remember correctly, I've seen that name in older VODs. But in the meantime, Tanghenya already sending in those double Hellions by the 3.5 minute mark. Not bad whatsoever, gets the scout on, but good positioning here with the Marines, as well the Queens, gonna be forcing them to back on now. Not gonna be worthwhile whatsoever. Sending in two Hellions against both a Terran and Zerg means that the Marines can go for the sus-step action. But Boiled Egg with the pressure. I like this very much from the side of Tanghenyo and Boiled Egg. They're using the Zerglings against the Marines. They're using the Hellions against the Zerglings. And well, it really goes to show in teamwork, it really means just making sure that your weaknesses are covered by your teammates. EhDiWow, lots of EhDiWow viewers in the chat. Big shoutouts to them supporting their team here round number 1. And we'll see if they'll make it out against a vintage team right here. Oldie but a goodie. That's what I gotta say about HD Gaming. And we'll see if this remaster is gonna be something like StarCraft Remastered, or will it be a shit show that is Warcraft 3 Reforged. That's gonna be the real question here. In the meantime, EhDiWow, they're just gonna be looking to impress and looking to make a mark for themselves. Like I said, guys, if you have any information about them for me, feel free to drop it in the chat, and we can talk about it a little more later into the stream. But, you know, we haven't really talked about the game too much. It is just your standard fanfare. We are going to need a Lair Tech, though, here for Boiled Egg. And he does have the Bailing Nest, so he can't go for the 3-base melee play that we have seen very popular here in the 2v2 setting. In the meantime, though, Tanghenyo finally getting his second base, and it seems like it is going to be a Battle Cruiser rush in a way. It's going to be a pretty standard opening against the Zerg rather than the Terran. But the problem playing the BC against a Terran opponent means those Marines can get the shots on, help out those Queens in extra DPS, and it might be a tougher time in the first place. For the time being, Blue Flame, always a good upgrade, can be able to be as potent as can be. Seems like for Tanghenyo, though, he is going to be playing into a mech playstyle, and it might be the old school one with the Hellions as well as the Cyclones to just try and get a pretty stable composition. In the meantime, though, what's banned here for Papinski? It seems like he is going to go on to Roach Warren Tech. He's on Lair. He is going to go for Aspire as well, so it might be the same kind of thing. But a little bit more timing here for Boiled Egg. He's going to be more in tune if he decides to go for it. But as I say that, apparently his Aspire only going to keep coming up now, so a little later to the party. Papinski, though, blowing on some gas. Boiled Egg gonna be the same. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the same number of Mutas flying on around for both sides, as now 3 bases held by both Zergs. So you can really see the priority here in this T and Z pairing. Who needs more bases? It's the Zerg. Who can be more efficient on a single base or two? It's the Terra. Mules are OP and they're just amazing units, and with the Zergs in position, they're basically going to be defending any kind of run-bys, to say the least. Speed kills, sure, but when you have the same speed as your opponent, it really feels like you're going in slow-mo. In the meantime, Third command center now coming up here for Xenos. And are we going to see his old school Banshee play? Seems like it's not going to be the case. Mech again is another playstyle that we're seeing a lot here in 2v2. In terms of the Baya, the only problem with Baya is you're really dealing with two opponents at the same time, so there's more chance for them to get some bigger AO damage. Mech, I feel like, a lot more stable. And here we go with the Vikings, getting a pick off. Real pick there from Xenos, catching out his opponent off guard. And a tactical jump to get on the way, not gonna make it in time. Seems like a reset is on order, but something to really note is Boiled Egg against Creep Spread. This guy is getting all the way through to the middle of the map, and as we said from Rhoskallian before, it is a pretty square map, sure, but in terms of the rush distance, it's really close. Only a number of creep tumors already into the middle of the map. And by this point in time, we are going to get the Baneling Nest upgrade as well, just letting those things roll around as quick as can be. In the meantime though, I feel like for Popisky, he has the right idea having this Roach Warren. Gonna be able to add a little more into the front line, especially against Banelings in the first place. By this point in time though, here we go with the Scouts! And Popisky seeing the Mutalist Ball come his way. 6 Mutalists up in the air for our light blue Zerg. Macro Hatch as well here from Boiled Egg. More and more units potentially coming the way of Boiled Egg into this one. We'll see if EhDiWow will go for the aggression. Having that macro hatch means they are going to be focusing heavily on getting the production on. Wouldn't be surprised to see the aggression here from the EhDiWow squad. But by this point in time, our harassment looking to get into the most outer base. And here comes the Blue Flame getting damage done. Mules are getting picked off. That's pretty worthwhile there. Even though usually a few Helens along the way, killing a mule is basically what, 600, 700 mils overall? It's kind of ridiculous how much value, especially if the mule just came on down from the heavens. So not bad whatsoever here for Tanghenyo flying on around right now with a few things here and there. Has the Hellions running on around with their speed as well. And Xenos having these siege tanks in really ambitious spots because of the protection courtesy of the queens and everything else. So Mass Queen here from Popisky has been expecting some air units overall, was looking to defend against the BC, and since we did see Boiled Egg go for Spire as well, seems like the composition is gonna fall in order here for the side of Team HD Gaming. For now though, +1/+1 will be going online. Seems like a commitment is in order here for the 3 base Muta play. At the same time, we will have a little bit of difference. It's Hydros right now though for Popisky, looking to play the counter in a way on the ground. Getting the Infestation Pit as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he does go into Hive Tech to get those Lurkers the best upgrades that he can if he chooses to do so. But anyway, we'll see how EhDiWow is going to be looking into this one. Look at how far EhDiWow has expanded. Like, even though we do see Popisky looking to keep up on the number of bases, it's kind of confusing, honestly. They're both on 4 base. The blue and the blue is a terrible color combination, but hey, it is what it is. But what I really have to say about Boiled Egg right now is he is kind of ahead in the macro compared to everyone else. He's really playing good with the creep tumors. He has the most amount of workers right now. It seems like an attack is in order. Here in 2v2, there's a little bit of a hustle in terms of the attack, but there is also that dead air sometimes wherein nothing really happens because both sides are coming en masse in 2v2. It's more likely to see a 400 ball for both sides. But anyway, here we go with the engagements. And there is going to be a lot of shots going on. Certainly starting to make it through to the other side, and it's going to be time to go for the push. Apparently, 2v2, a whole different beast on the PC. And it's going to be those Zerglings just into that mineral line, taking care of business immediately. Beautiful restoration there, courtesy of Boiled Egg. And there we go with the Banelings rolling on in already. Good damage done onto the Marines. Xenos has a back on that just a little bit, but Popisky hanging back as well. And it really seems like those queens are getting torn apart by this big ball of fury. EhDiWow surprising everyone with a big force of nature. And that is just a good engagement there. Okay, what can I turn off to make this a little better? Goodbye, Discord. Goodbye. Goodbye, music player. Hello, StarCraft 2. Let's just get into this one more. Because in 1v1, a PC can handle anything that's going on. 2v2, apparently, a little bit different to say the least. Missile turret, though, just fending off those mutants for now. Planetary Fortress going to get upgraded, but it might not make it whatsoever. That upgrades have taking a little too long in this regard. And Banelings right now rolling on in. Cancels already, command center lifted off. And we'll see if mutants are going to give chase in the first place. Beautiful zone though from Tanghenyo. But at the same time, that's going to be a split army, which does lead to these stores going down. Siege tanks right now getting torn apart at the seams. Damage being done on both sides. And here comes the bolt from Popisky. He has the Reapers, he has the Roaches rather, as well as the Hydras. Looking to go for the push right here, right now. Counter activity, courtesy of our Zerg player. And it seems like both sides just helping one another in their times of need. There we go, yet again. We are going to be looking to find just a little more into the fights. Got the Banelings moving on around to the left-hand side. And there you go, with these roly-poly-olies getting caught out in the open. Roach though, with the push one more time, Vikings running on in yet again. And it seems like here for Boiled Egg, he has literally played into his nameset. Gudetama, gonna be proud of this one, because these eggs are looking to pop very soon, but with the roaches in the front line, he has to go into the hide, wants to go for the encircle. The roaches though, still there. And Papinski, I love the positioning from our yellow Zerg. He just keeps the Hydras alive from the Banelings. And behind those, Cena's now tearing apart this hatchery. And overall, HD Gaming with proper counterattack. Either side though, letting on up both sides still with some good money to really keep up the economy. And here we go again with Boiled Egg right now, rolling on around as much as possible. Look at this! It is just gonna be Egg City right here, right now. Look at just pop on, and pop goes the Weasel perhaps. But you know what pops everything else? These Siege Stacks right now getting position. Here comes the roll on in, everything getting torn apart, trying to go for the transition. And just these Banelings not too effective against these armored units. Beautiful pop. Here and now from Papinski and Xenos, they have the composition that they need to take care of Boiled Egg and his antics. And that is just going to be all of those units going down. Advantage right now for HD Gaming. This might be over if this decisive push actually works out in their favor. For now though, Tanghenyo gonna be the one looking to be in charge of the defense, but he barely has an army count right now. He's trying to get those upgrades as well. +2/+2, gonna be very, very helpful. Siege Tanks in a proper spot might be able to tear things apart in terms of these chokes. But this is going to be GG called. Victory will go to HD Gaming. What a push there from Cenas as well, Papinski. It really looked like Tanghenyo and Boiled Egg had the proper attack, but when their army got split up and Boiled Egg went for the bottom base, and then the rest of Tanghenyo's units got caught out in the middle, it allowed Papinski to surprise his opponents, bring in that ground composition. He was defending with Queens earlier on, and then it led to Roaches, it led to Hydras, and that was victory there for HD Gaming. There you go, guys. That was the first game there. Really impressive stuff. I love the seniors bracket already, showing us a completely different set from yesterday. And a good effort there from EhDiWow. I have to commend so much about their play. And we are going to be getting into our second map real quick. And that will be Efflorescence, Mr. Alvin. Don't worry about that. So Efflorescence will be our second map. I believe we didn't get to see that yesterday. So this is going to be our first time seeing it on stream, which is going to be really, really interesting to note. But they're on Rhoskallian. It really was just a fact of the matter that counterattack from HD Gaming was just so on point. They pushed into the wedge. They found the siege tanks and the Thors out of position in a way because the side of EhDiWow using it to zone. And the Roaches and the Hydras enough to get that DPS on. Now the Roaches, of course, they have the saturation point, so they decided to go for the attack there. And one beautiful thing that the yellow Zerg did there was really protect his Hydras as much as possible from the Banelings. Kept the Roaches in front, good positioning with the concave. It was just like a wall in having a beautiful core in the middle. It's like, you know, Kinder eggs, maybe Kinder Delight, that kind of thing. You have a hard shell and you have a really, really gooey interior sometimes if you don't have the toy. That was pretty much it. It was just so solid there, and overall, it allowed them to push. It was kind of desperate from Boiled Egg. I love the Banelings, but unfortunately, it just doesn't really do too much. If there are Thors in the way, if there are Roaches in the way, sure, if you can make it to the Siege Tanks, you're going to get some really good damage against those immobile units. But in the end, it didn't happen. Those eggs basically getting popped one by one. And you know that nursery rhyme, pop goes a weasel. That was pretty much what happened to those Banes. So there you go, guys. Game number 1. Going in favor of the team on the left. Going in favor of HD Gaming. And Efflorescence now gonna be our second map into this one. From what I recall, this is one of the maps I have seen actually played. And we are gonna be able to get into our game very, very soon. TVZ versus TVZ. And in Efflorescence, if it might remind you guys of a previous map that was in the ladder in 1v1, Ephemeron. It kind of feels that way in a way. It seems like when you look at Efflorescence, like, why are the sides the ones with the spawn now? Why are not we on the diagonals? Why does this map look a little different in that regard? Same tile set, I believe, but hey, it still has a different dynamic from Ephemeron, and we'll be explaining to you very, very shortly what that is. But EhDiWow impressing me. I wish I knew more about them, but they have really shown their stuff, their teamwork, especially in the early game. But right now, HD Gaming, they have the advantage. They're looking to move on to round number 2, and we'll see how this is all going to unfold as we get into our second game of this set. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go again! Another battle, another bout, and another game to go on. Start things off on the wilderness, perhaps, the grassy fields here of Efflorescence, and introducing our players. Here on the south side, we got the red Terran Xenos, as well as his partner on the west side, the yellow Zerg Papinski. Both sides, both players consisted, or whatever you want to call it. They're basically HD gaming right here, right now, with a 1-point lead. But their opponents on the other side have been putting up a tough fight so far. Could have gone either way, just a little decisive action going out in favor of their enemies. But right here, right now, it's time to see if they can muster a comeback in a way. A reverse sweep going to be essential here and now for our twin blue colors. As here on the north of Efflorescence, we got the blue Terran of Tanghenyo, as well as the light blue Zerg of Boiled Egg. Now for Boiled Egg, I feel like if he wants to really play the good Tama strategy with all those Banelings, he kind of needs to do that a lot earlier into the game. And just a little more scouting here for EhDiWow gonna be going a lot better in that way. They just didn't really have an answer. So all those armored units in the end, sure, it was Tanghenyo's job in a way, but when Papibski brought in the roaches and really doubled up on the armor count, it was kind of Boiled Egg looking a little left behind in a way. Viola's very good against picking off workers. We didn't really see that too much there because of the anti-air capabilities on both sides. And while you're only playing Zerglings and Banelings overall, even though it's really fun to go for the rushdown, it just isn't enough in terms of that firepower. And yeah, you can really see just the early game aggression suiting EhDiWow there a lot better. And I feel like if they decide to go for a more decisive strike earlier on into the game, it might work out a lot better for them. Something note for Efflorescence, it is a backwards defense in a way. It's onto the sides, you look to kind of wall off in the middle if you do want to take those naturals a lot safer. But if you wall off up on top, it's okay because you can easily come as one into the middle from your two ramps. Now in 2v2 maps, also something to note is Reapers are a lot easier to use because there are kind of more ramps in a way to use to go for the scout, and we can see a lot of success with the Reaper plays in many regards when you play the units in a setup like this. For now though, we got Papinski on to the west side. We'll be getting that second base as well. But the kind of greedy strategy here from Tanghenyo and Boiled Egg, it might work out for them. So in 2v2, what I've noticed, it's a little different if you both expand at the same time. It opens you up to getting harassed, sure. But when your opponent is playing a back game and not really expecting to go for pressure earlier on, it is really safe. And right now, the only one on one base is Xenos. They have gotten the scout only onto the barracks earlier on for the wall, which means it's standard play right here, right now for both sides. And for Xenos, he's going to be looking for more of the army count to allow Papibski to get the macro on. And in the end, they might be surprised by how many units are coming their way. You know, guys, again, as you said from Tanghenyo, it's like, this is a bait name, but first things first, we don't get banned with names like that, and honestly, you know, I like it. It really feels a little bit of flavor here that he can potentially bring to the table. And speaking of flavor right now, it might be drop play, because we are going to get the Medivacs, we are getting the Twin Widow Mines, and yes, so it is going to be a rotate on over. Another racks into play, Bio this time, 3 racks, 2 base, pretty standard stuff as we've said from Tanghenyo. So early on, we saw mech versus mech. Will we see Bio versus Bio this time? Now, if I remember from Xenos, he loves to play that mech playstyle in a way, but he does usually utilize the starport to a good degree. I might be wrong actually. Does he play mech unless we play Bio? I remember from him was really Banshees, but for Tanghenyo in the meantime, he's shown a little bit of that mech prowess. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bio might be his better playstyle here. It's more into the meta right now, and since he's timing things right in a way to get these 3 racks going, he does go for the earlier starport. 111 isn't really the build anymore per se for Terran unless you want to go for early harassment with either those drops or the Liberators. And well, it will be making a difference. Holy crap, that is just gonna be one big exclamation point there. You know, his name, if you censor it, that's pretty much what all I just want to say. Or what Papibski wants to say to his opponent, because that was absolutely huge. Getting rid of the mineral line there in one fell swoop, only 5 workers right now onto those minerals. Damn, that is just such a good hit there from Tanghenyo. On the other side though, Boiled Egg, looking to play it a little more safe on the creep spread. So earlier on, we saw him really go all the way with the creep, and Papibski will go for the 2 base roach play. potentially going to be looking for harassment here, and now a little difficult to set up an all-in a way without your teammate alongside you. But these roaches packing a huge punch at the front line, and Boiled Egg going for the Baneling Cocoon already. He's trying to get a little more damage there. In the meantime, reinforcements have arrived from the Terran. Defender zone there from the Liberator. No backing punch will be able to get that kill, and Papipski will be caught between a rock and a hard place, but it seems like it's the same kind of tidings. Good riddance to all those drones in the first place. And what is Cena's going to be doing in response? So he did go for the Liberator, apparently 14 kills to his name. I knew something was amiss because the Red Terran wasn't there in the first place, but it seems like he's harassing this main middle line to the fullest degree. Roaches though, such a big bet, and from 1 to 2, it seems like both Zergs are getting crippled here by the Terrans as well as the low reinforcements on the side. So good harassment there from both Tanghenyo and Xenos. This means the Terrans right now are kind of going to be the stars of the show for the time being. But since Boiled Egg kind of lost out on both 2 of his bases, and maybe even the third actually, it seems like those 18 kills did come from that most outwards base. Well, for Boiled Egg, he has to build a lot more. He needs to come back just a little bit more. He invested early on to that third base. It kind of blew up in his face. If Papipski in the meantime already recuperating, it seems like his leg healing a little better before the doctor said, you guys are ready to go for another fight. So overall, I'd put HD Gaming in a slight advantage on the Terran side and a bigger advantage on the Zerg side. So overall, you can really see them having more of that harassment going in their favor. Ravens right now getting dropped, and Tanghenyo, where are those SCVs? Seems like they got pulled on away, I believe, yes, onto the second line to be safe from the Raven harassment. And this is what I've been talking about for Cena's. He can play either Bio or the Mech, but his Starport play is kinda nutty. From back then in Wings of Liberty, those Banshees doing a lot, and hey, these Ravens Liberators doing a lot more here on Efflorescence. And in a map like this, it's quite big. You can really go from the air harassment. We've seen the success there from Tanghenyo before with the drop, but overall, it's still anyone's game. Anyway, what tech options are we going into next? Spire right now for both sides. And I feel like in a 2v2, just having the Spire is kind of safe in a way. You have a little bit of that anti-air. You can go for Corruptors later on if need be. So potent against any armored units that fly around. And in a 2v2 setup, as we've said before, it really goes to show that the games kind of do go longer. So you might expect higher tier units. So battle cruisers are kind of expected, carriers if ever are kind of expected, maybe Brulers even. So having those Corruptors to be an unlocked tool, I feel is a good way to go about things. And as we've said, it enables the third tier of tech in the way onto the air side for the Zerg. So it seems like a push is in order on both sides. Here comes Xenos looking for this Sisu strike onto this third base yet again. Cooking up the Queen, will get that takedown. There we go with this base. Probably gonna go down very, very soon. On the other hand though, looking to be Tanghenyo doing the same. These Terrans really harassing these Zergs. Neither side letting up whatsoever. Tanghenyo and Xenos trying to have the same impact at the same time. And really beautiful pushes right here, right now. Here comes more and more reinforcements. So Boiled Egg gonna be in position there. And Xenos might need to retreat. This is gonna be looking to be very, very scary. And these Banelings need to be huge from Papinski. Trying to get the hatch on in time. They will just all get cancelled instead. Marines right now getting in position, and without that Baneling speed, it really goes to show the fire rates from these Marines just a little too much handle, but the Banelings have already gotten into the south side, and that is absolutely huge here from Papimski. Mutas also tried to hatch. Can the Lair stay alive long enough to just buy time for these Mutas? It doesn't matter though, if the Lair dies, these eggs will still hatch, but honestly, losing that second tier of tech kinda hurts. This might be a one-way trip from Tanghenyo. He's already loading on in, because these eggs now hatching on over, going for the chase down, but won't be able to get the takedown, and kinda awkward there. Boiled Egg though doing a little harassment with his own Mutas. Xenos trying to repair this missile turret, setting up those SCVs. And overall, it is going to be time for these Mutas on both sides to go for the harassment as much as possible yet again. Beautiful hits right here, right now on both sides. And hey, we got Tanghenyo keeping the top up on. Seems like though we are gonna get our Yellow Zerg right here, right now, getting even more so on that Baneling speed. And there we go with a quick little rotate onto the missile turret. Shots now keeping on coming over and over. And overall, we'll see a little more macro on both Cena side as well as a Boiled Egg doing the same thing, getting that third hatchery one more time. The chase is on. Mutas going for the chase down yet again. Really gonna be a big air engagement there. Tanghenyo though, looking to build more and more onto that bio side, and more racks gonna be into play. Now, something to note though, he has the 1-1 with the combat shield and the stim pack already, and that was all that timing was about, going for the push with his upgrade advantage. And now this might be time for Papibski as well as Cenos to try and get something a little different. So more on the mech playstyle again here for Cenos, sending things over. In the meantime, Boiled Egg right now gonna be onto the right hand side. Shots now keeping on coming. These mutas flying on around. And into the middle of the map. Still gonna be those yellow mutalists flying on around even more so. Now, it seems like though we aren't really getting too much creep spread, both sides playing more defensive in a way. They don't want their opponents to utilize the creep in essence, and that was what we saw from the first game. But still, these mutas fighting again and again. Going for pokes one another. Glaive-worms probably gonna be tossed over parasites in that regard. +1 flyers now for Boiled Egg, and on the other side, +1 carapace for those flyers, which is really interesting to note. So they're just basically mitigating upgrades for the time being. Here comes Tanghenyo though with the push yet again. Marines right now moving on over to the other side, but gets torn apart by the siege tanks really easily. And there you go, just the Hellbats and the siege tanks in position, able to get the damage done. Papibski looking to reinforce with Zerglings in behind to make sure no pincer attacks happen from the ground. But this Mutaball here from Boiled Egg looking really scary. 24-16. Beautiful pickups in the middle in the air right now. And this is going to be the chase. Boiled Egg having the advantage. Upgrades going to be coming up at the same time, to say the least. Overlord will be sacrificed there to allow the mutas to fly on away. And honestly, our Red Terran going to be needing a lot of anti-air rather here, as more and more of those mutas showing on up. But Tanghenyo in the meantime, boots to the ground. It's time for basic training. And oh, the Rock's going to get dropped down here to play a little more defensive for the side of the Blue Terran. So bootcamp is on, and they are going to be looking to get in position even more. Still for Boiled Egg, going to be rotating himself to the east side. Guard Command Center now being built yet again, but it might not survive, to say the least, because this is so many mutas looking for such big damage. Missile turret getting repaired is still not going to happen. Here comes the reinforcements though. Vikings going to be pretty potent in this regard. And the Ravens going to be flying on around as well. Still seems like both sides might have engagements. The Blue Terran waiting for an opportunity. Boiled Egg in the meantime giving things up and making those mutas the center of the attention. And with no potential shutdown onto another base off of Papibski's, these Zerg players really having to struggle to move on forward in terms of their macro. But in essence, more and more of these medivacks getting loaded on in. Here on Efflorescence, it's going to be a pretty big map to utilize those cliffs. And you really see why drop play is looking really good so far for Tanghenyo. That's another command center falls. Here we go with the engagement yet again. The Muta's trying to go for the poke. A few Marines dying there. And for Tanghenyo, when he has to deal with a Mutaball, he kinda is put in a fight situation. If he goes for the flight and those afterburners are not ready, he is just gonna lose everything on the inside. So he has to drop down those units, go for the med packs as quick as can be, and make sure everything is going to be a-okay in that regard. Drilling Claws though going to be online very soon. Tanghenyo looking to be a little sneaky with a few Widow Mine drops here and there yet again. A lot of upgrades as well. +2 right now going online on Twin Engineering Base. And on the other side, we are going to get that +2 flyers here for the side of Boiled Egg. So for now, scan going to be into play. You go with more and more of this movements. And by this point in time, Tanghenyo getting in position for the setup. We'll get the shutdown onto the hatchery there. Turn around, we'll get that takedown. Even more so of these banelings. Such a big concave right now, but on the other side, the Muta's harassment is in full force, and this is what we were talking about from the Mutas. There's so many of them right now, filling things up in the air. More Mutas though in response, but hey, the damage has been done already in essence. Looking at the supply block, seeing us just a little bit. A few of the depots going down. Unfortunately though, this main base doesn't really have too much in the first place. But in the meantime, roaches right now brought along by Boiled Egg. Now, I kind of question these roaches. Not really the best thing to add on in the way. If you have some Ravagers, that'll be even better. Because those Ravagers and those Biles gonna be really good, especially against these siege tanks. But naked roaches flying all by themselves, yeah, kinda not gonna be too much. And it seems like Boiled Egg has realized the situation. Siege tanks are too many to begin with. And these Biles are going to be so good, not only against the tanks, but also the Thors that are quite slow in their movement. Now, it seems like we are running out of upgrades to get, and Papibski's like, let's throw in Burrow. Why not? Why not, indeed. And for the side of Papibski, he's the one staying on to the Muta composition overall. These Flyers though all over the map right now, and Papibski and Boiled Egg might go for another engagement. Sensor Tower though will go down. Scan gonna be the air into play, and there we go with a potential catch. So Naga Tower taken though here by Tanghenyo, looking for the brawl. In the meantime, same engagement right now, forcing the Zerglings to turn into Banelings instead. Still though, neither side going for one big clash, but as we say that, here we go with a push on in already. Siege Tanks getting the blow on up. Mutalisk still might get caught by the anti-armor, and that's gonna be a huge debuff into play, courtesy of Xenos. Vikings right now in position as well. Advantage right now for the side of Team HD Gaming with a debuff into play, and just poking battles yet again. But Thor's in the front line, getting damage done. Banelings right now on the north hand side, blowing everything up. The Kingdom Come, and Tanghenyo and Boiled Egg losing out in this regard. So many Mutas taking damage there. Xenos with Papibski with the advantage, but these roaches right now down below taking DPS from those Glade Worms, and this is just such a good spellcaster play from Xenos. HD Gaming with the push, with the advantage, and Tanghenyo and Boiled Egg getting surprised by all the AoE there. Fight though isn't over yet, especially for Tanghenyo. He still has so much money in the bank, can go for a lot of production. Boiled Egg in the meantime, he has 100 army still, and for him, the biggest thing to note is he has to play really safe with these Mutas. If he loses all of this, that might be the show there and then for our light blue Zerg. In the meantime, any harassment going on seems like not to be the case, as there we go the push, going for the takedown onto this hatchery. Roaches again brought into the front line, will die easily to the hand of the Thors. Mule right now to go for a little bit of the repair. In the meantime though, the Muleless Ball going to go for the transition onto the other side, and seems like it's spotted already. Big clash perhaps from the two Mutas, concaving on in. Neither side though wanting to really full commit, but as we say that, here we go right now with the Worms going for the pokes. StarCraft 1 gameplay here in StarCraft 2. Ball versus ball up in the air, and Quinn Boiled Egg really gets back into this one without cracking on his own shell. Just huge harassment overall. The Terran getting into the front line as well. In the meantime, the Muta's still with this harassment, really giving chase to as many hatcheries as possible. And I think this is the best thing Boiled Egg can do right now. He doesn't have the most direct army. His Roach squadron kind of just falling flat in its face. So for him, he might leave everything to Tanghenyo to take the front line, to hope and pray for those amazing splits against those anti-armors and everything else, and just basically go for the harassment on those middle lines. If he does this a little more, it might be too much to handle for Papibski as well as Xenos, especially for Papibski right now. He's only on 45 workers. He also has the less number of Mutas right now, if I do say so myself. Yeah, 36 to 25. So in any straight air engagement, it is the advantage there for Boiled Egg. But in the meantime, Xenos already imposing it as well. He's at 200 right now in that supply, with only 58 workers. That's around 140 into the army count. And in the meantime, a few Zerglings there into the front line as well. One more base gonna go down. The big loss there for Tanghenyo isn't the base really, but it's the barracks going down there. It was in the front line, not too much production right now. It's gonna be a lot slower here for our blue Terran to get reinforcements, and that is gonna be huge again from Xenos. He's using the Thors with their AoE, shoots the missiles up in the air. Good run by already from Papibski. In the meantime, there we go with the scan, gonna be the play. Tanghenyo though going for the top up onto those roaches, and this should be a fend off onto a few of the Thors there. But overall, with just the sneaky antics here from Papibski, what we were wanting from Boiled Egg in the first place, it really just isn't gonna pan out. I understand Boiled Egg's plight. It seems like he has to try and help out his teammate, but against Thors, it's just not gonna happen. The AoE is absolutely huge with those missiles, and they just get the absolute shutdown from around 36 to only 26 Mutals right now, evening up against Papibski. Things looking dire here for the double blue side in the way, because they're running out of resources on the bases that they are secure in. So the expansion into the frontier is exactly what needs to happen. I feel like for our Red Terran, he's just adding more of those factories to get even more of that mech. In the meantime though, for Boiled Egg, +3 right now gonna be online very soon. Can the Roaches potentially actually win into the front line? That's gonna be the real question there. But here comes the Mutapole, and this time it's gonna be a big shutdown there from Boiled Egg. That's what we've been looking for here from our light blue player. Now though, that's just you know what kind of sucks here for Tanghenyo. You can really see the difference in the economy for him. Earlier on, he was floating on so much minerals because he was kind of secure in terms of production anyway, really trying to be efficient as possible. But without those other Raxes right now, he kind of just without those bases having any minerals to work with, he kind of is struggling right now. From, I think he had like around 2,000 minerals perhaps earlier on, and since he lost so much in the AoE, he had to use so much of it, and the bank just going bust in essence. For now though, it's still not secure for either side, even though Xenos and Papibski have a pretty big advantage in the way. One, strike from Boiled Egg or Tanghenyo might make a big difference. The drop play is something to really be wary of. We've seen Tanghenyo do so good with it earlier on. And it might really make a big difference. He did go for Drilling Claws a while ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if he found a little bit of money to leave a few Widow Mines here and there lurking like this, especially against so many of these Zerglings just sponged in the first place. Here we go with the push. Banix right now with the Baston down yet again. Mutas going for the brawl one more time, and it's going to be an engagement. That is an air show to remember. Raptors right now going to be going for as many hits as possible, and the Mutas going for the stun step action. Who will actually win in direct engagements? That's a real question here. See this right now with the anti-armor one more time. Two of those Ravens will go down. Vikings start to reinforce, and it's going to be a little bit very difficult here for Boiled Egg actually. He is going to be trying to face off against two different armies at the same time. And 1v1 Muta versus Muta, I feel Boiled Egg might have the advantage because he does have the +2 upgrade there compared to the +1 on armor for Papibski. But when the anti-armor comes and Xenos brings in the Vikings, it's a whole different story. Anyway though, from big clashes early on to kinda medium-sized ones, and GG gonna get told. Tanghenyo will fan out there. That is gonna be game, set, and match. A little surprising because I felt like they still had to fight, but without the army counts, that is gonna be the show there. And then victory goes over to HD Gaming. Very commendable effort though from Tanghenyo as well as Boiled Egg, really making this a match to remember. That was a solid first match there, and congratulations to Xenos as well as Papibski putting up such a good fight against their opponents. Both sides though, very commendable. Great first game. A lot of love there to the side of, what was the team name again, from EhDiWow. They really did surprise us. Even though they might be a little sarcastic there in their name, they have shown that they can really bring it up to some of these veteran players. And well, for HD Gaming, seems like we have gotten our ass there. It's a remaster in there, not a reforge, and they are going to be looking to move on to the next round to face off against Team PP, which is going to be really, really interesting. But hey, there you go, guys. These are our results so far in this best of 3 Rhoskallian and Efflorescence, both taken by HD Gaming. Emerald City will be seeing that potentially into another match. But kudos there to HD Gaming moving on. EhDiWow for bringing us such a great show there to start things off. And even though they're going to be going home empty-handed, they have to be proud of how effortlessly they really played into that one. A lot of good notes there for EhDiWow. I just want to say the positives about their games. You can really see the creep game is strong. You can really see the drop play game is strong. The flyer game is strong. But unfortunately, where they kind of lose out there is the bigger engagements. It seems like they're not really more on the spellcaster side. If you notice them, they're not really too much on the split. They have some really good macro, and they have some really good harassment, but in terms of a big engagement, that's kind of where Xenos as well as Papibski have shown the advantage there. The run by is doing a little more than usual. The spellcaster is getting some really big AoE debuffs, and yeah, HD Gaming taking a well-deserved 2-0. We said a lot of things about them, and we are expecting a lot more into the future. But right now, we are going to be looking into round number 2. So there you go, guys. That was our first round of the day, and we got 4 different matchups now coming your way for round number 2. We'll only be going to be casting one of them, and then we'll be moving on into the semifinals for many of those winners. We got Team PP versus HD Gaming, Mizzen versus Rush, Day 1 versus GG Nori, and You Got Zerg versus Rush to win. So those 8 teams remaining going to be going for a brawl simultaneously. We're going to be looking to set things up, clock in, and make sure everything is a-okay. We'll be deciding though what game we're going to be getting into the next one, and we will be right back, guys. This is the SCPH Dual Beat Seniors Bracket.